The way I got into jazz music, into the jazz music industry, was through, of all things, an athletic scholarship to Mount Hood Community College. This was in 1979. It was the birthplace, especially of vocal jazz music at the college level. There had been no vocal jazz in college courses before Mount Hood Community College. And my athletic scholarship came from track and field. I threw discus for one of the high schools here in Portland. And my coach saw me at the state track meet and invited me to come and throw for his team at Mount Hood. But his inducement was to tell me that he heard that I was a singer, and he wanted to let me know that there was a great vocal jazz program at Mount Hood Community College. And if I came to school there, I could most likely audition for and get into that ensemble, which is what I did. From there, from Mount Hood, I became involved in a contemporary music band, pop, top 40 funk soul, called Velvet. And I began to work around town. We couldn't get across the river into downtown Portland because we were known as a Northeast Portland basement band, and all of our band members, mostly all of our band members, were African American, and the club owners at that time were kind of standoffish about young black musicians. They kept saying, "We don't want the crowd that you'll bring in." And we kept saying, "We don't have a crowd. That's why we're trying to get into your club. We're trying to get to the next level." We finally did, and that's where I met musicians like Tom Grant, Don Latarsky, the Tall Jazz Trio, which included Mike Horsfall, Dan Presley, and Kurt Deuscher. Started working up and down the West Coast in those bands, in those ensembles. And in 1997, I became part of a band called Black Swan Classic Jazz Band, and that opened up an enormous field of opportunity for me. I began to travel to Australia and Denmark, Sweden, Norway. This type of exposure just basically gave me the repertoire and the confidence that I needed to be the lead singer in a jazz ensemble, no matter what size it was, from duos to trios, quartets, and to big bands. I was able to front those bands confidently, knowing that I had learned the music, I had learned the history of the music, and I knew the musicians and their life paths that led to that music being so popular and being so influential all across the world. If I could go back to a point in time where I had the opportunity to mentor myself or another young woman singer heading into a career, I would definitely tell her, get to know your instrument and learn the fundamental aspects of singing so that you don't run into vocal dysphonia problems that I did, because I wasn't ready for the career to take off the way it did, going from singing 2 nights a week to singing 5 nights a week, and sometimes more, sometimes twice and 3 times in a day. And I would get so vocally tired, so tired. And I knew I was doing damage to my voice, to my instrument. And thank God I found a teacher, an instructor, who taught me how to sing correctly and to use all of my lung capacity and my diaphragm for support. If I had known that going into the industry, it would have saved me a lot of anxious nights, and it would have saved me from that thought, I'm going to have to quit because I don't have what it takes. But I do have what it takes, and I did have what it takes. I just had to learn how to use it. That 17-year-old girl had an innocence about the world and life and people that I wish I retained today. Not that I'm jaded, I'm not done, I'm not finished with this industry or, the people, but I wish I could have kept that hopeful, chin forward, chin up outlook on things. And I think it would have probably sent me into different avenues, different pathways for my career. But I did find myself going on some tangents that I should not have. And I think if I had listened to her and her puppy dog innocence, I would not have gone down those paths. But I'm still standing. I'm here. Both feet under me, shoulders squared, chin up. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be singing until I'm called home. And even then, I like to say I'll probably sing at my own funeral.
Whoa, I found a dream that I could speak to.